Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Hump Day.
Uh-oh. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's Hump Day.
Hump day!
It's Hump Day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not, but the fun is all in the trying. And let me just say, well, we're succeeding today. Today is definitely going to be the beginning of the weekend because ain't got a lot of work I got to do. Well, I'm not doing any work except for my honeydews tomorrow. You know, the honeydew stuff that you got to do to get ready for Thanksgiving, for the family coming over and all that fun stuff. And that is all, will all be done before I start partaking of the libations of the day. And then Friday, got almost nothing to do, but it's going to be a relatively short period of time. But we're gonna have a good time. So anyway, so we're very much looking forward to a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have a great time today. Unfortunately, Mike is still trying to make it. He said, unfortunately, I guess he's not cooking. He said he was supposed to be cooking. He was going to be in his cooking gear and garb and yada yada yada. But I guess he isn't able to make it. Anyway, in any case, I'm here. You're here. We're here. We're live. If you're watching us at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Rumble, and we're taking your comments. So would love to hear from you. If you got something to say, go ahead and let us know what's up. Because it's all good. It's all good. And once again, whether you agree with us or you disagree with us, we're going to have a good time because if you disagree with us, well, if you agree with us, then we're going to celebrate in the fact that we're right, even if, we're dealing with whatever stuff the liberals are throwing at us. But if you disagree, that's okay because that gives me an opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Yes, it gives me an opportunity to mock you, which is surely for entertainment purposes. It does not mean that I hate you or that I dislike you. It doesn't mean that I don't hate you or dislike you. It just doesn't mean that I do. But it is very entertaining. And when I say entertaining, I specifically mean it's entertaining for me. So anyway, we're going to have a good time. At least that's what we try to do. But would always, once again, love to hear from you. Love to hear what you have to say. If you like the program, if you dislike the program, well, I probably won't share it. But anyway, would love to hear from you. So go ahead and give us a quick shout out. Speaking of shout outs, this is the point in the program where we give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with the folks over at Hitman Industries. They sell rifle and pistol caliber barrels. They sell them at any length that you may want. And they do it really, really great. Let me tell you, if you've purchased an AR in the last 4 years, there's a good chance you already purchased one of their barrels. And if you like your AR, you're definitely going to love whatever barrel you get from them. So if you're looking to do a rebuild, you're looking to do you're looking to rebarrel your rifle, or you're looking to do a brand new build, let the first place you go to, let it be hitmanindustries.net. Trust me, you will not regret it. Then we've got the folks over at the California Republican Assembly. These folks are working to help elect conservatives at all level of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. In fact, Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. Won't you please check them out today at cragop.org if you want to be a part of California's future today. And trust me, California's going to be a part of your future. But if you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then next, we have the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market. Those would be available at Hog Holsters. All you have to do is go to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Why is it spelled that way? Because it stands for Helping Americans Wear Guns. Now, if you go there and you purchase one, trust me, you're going to like what you have there. You're going to like what you see there. You're going to want to get it. So why not get it on a discount, especially during the holidays? Make sure you use the discount code the Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. And you're going to get a cool little discount today. And then we have the folks over at uscombatgear.com. They are the place to go to gear if you need tactical gear. They have everything except the gun. Trust me. They have a huge selection. They have really competitive prices. In fact, they specialize in group sales. So here's the deal. Get your agency together, get your group together, get your club together, get your department together, and go over to uscombatgear.com and get the gear that you need. Because trust me, there you will find all things tactical except the gun. And then tuning in, we have our good friend, Mr. Patrick Collins, over at the Gun Food. Go check out the Gun Food. Google the Gun Food. Trust me, you're going to want to go there. They have some phenomenal prices. They have really great customer service. And just because he is tuning in, and wishing us a happy Thanksgiving. First, I want to start by Patrick wishing you a happy Thanksgiving, but also just want to say, y'all check him out. Check out his business. Trust me, he will hook you up. They will definitely hook you up. They will take good care of you. Especially, by the way, make sure you tell him you heard it over at the Rundown. All right, they say, hey, I heard about you on the Rundown. Just so you know, he knows. Know what I mean? Of course you do. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's news stories. Breaking news. This is something that's happened just recently. You've probably been hearing a lot about it. And sadly, there is a new update. When I was putting the show together, there had been two National Guard troops who had been shot, and the shooter was in custody, or the shooter is in custody. Sadly, now ABC News is reporting that those two National Guardsmen have since passed. I'll read a little bit from the story here over at the ABC News. It says here, two National Guard members are dead after being shot in downtown Washington near the White House, according to West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey. Quote, "It is with great sorrow that we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot earlier today in Washington, D.C., have passed away from their injuries. These brave West Virginians lost their lives in the service of their country. We are not going to contact the federal officials. We are in ongoing contact. I'm sorry, we're not. Well, I can't believe I read that wrong. Okay, we are in ongoing contact with the federal officials as the investigation continues, Morrissey said. Quote, our entire state grieves with with their families, their loved ones, and the Guard community. West Virginia will never forget their sacrifice or their service or their sacrifice, and we will demand full accountability for this horrific act," Morrissey said. The two National Guard members were a woman and a man, according to a law enforcement official briefed on the situation. The suspect is in custody, the Metropolitan Police Department said, and the scene has been secured. A man believed to be a suspect uh, to be in a man believed to be suspect in critical condition, the law enforcement official said. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including U.S. Marshals, ATF, and FBI, responded to the shooting. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said her agency is working with local authorities to gather more information. According to the D.C. police official, there was an active shooter incident reported at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time at the entrance of the Farragut West Metro Station. President Donald Trump has been briefed on the shooting. White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt is said in a statement. The White House confirmed. A White House official confirmed the White House is currently locked down. Trump is in. Trump is currently in Florida, where he is suspending Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago Club. I'm sorry, where he is spending Thanksgiving. So we went there in order to spend time there. Now, I'm gonna I don't know if you want to call this a tirade, if you're gonna call this a commentary, whatever you may want to call this, but I'm gonna start by saying we don't know who this shooter is and we don't know what his motivation is. What we do know is this appeared to be a targeted shooting. Um, we know that Democrats, and when I say Democrats, I'm speaking very broadly. We know the left. We know people in the media. We know people in academia. We know activists. We know elected members of Congress have accused the president and have accused they've accused America, whether and the president and his agents. So if you want to call them ICE agents, if you want to refer to ICE agents, if you want to refer to National Guard troopers, quote unquote, as they've referred to him as his Gestapo, uh, however you want to. The left has gone out of their way to grant a permission structure for violence against President Trump and those who are implementing President Trump's orders. We've had members of Congress put out a video claiming you are obligated to deny to refuse, or you must refuse unlawful orders, not mentioning, okay, well, what orders are unlawful, insinuating that the president has been engaged or that they have been given unlawful orders. And someone, and I'm gonna once again, I'm merely speculating, but I don't think I'm wrong. I'm just gonna say this. If you believe I'm wrong, and by the way, I'm wholly willing to admit that there could definitely be evidence out there that I am wrong. But I believe this is another case of another individual who has bought into the permission structure of the left, that it's okay to go after conservatives, that it's okay to go after ICE agents, that it's okay to go after National Guard troops, that it's okay to go after law enforcement. It's okay to inflict violence upon them as they seek to implement not just what President Trump wants, but what the American people claim that they wanted by electing him, by supporting his positions and the things that he's doing. Nothing he is doing is illegal. Nothing he is doing is unethical. Nothing he is doing is unconstitutional. And because they can't get to the president, they're going to get to those who are actually implementing those rules, those laws, those orders on the ground. And now, a young man and a young woman are dead. And I lay that directly at the feet of those who have perpetrated the rhetoric that is promoting the violence. Now, here's what I'll tell you about these folks. If they are protesting, if they're out there saying, well, that's not blah, 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 and they're arguing, then yeah, they're the ones I'm talking about. Because I think that in a time like this, when you recognize that studies are currently showing that left-wing violence is ruling the day, that there is more left-wing violence out there that is occurring right now in this country, and it is being given permission by those not just the fringe, but by those who are in elective office, by folks like AOC and Ilhan Omar, by folks like Nancy Pelosi, by people on MSNBC and less so now, but CNN, ABC News, CBS News. These folks are out there granting permission. They're giving permission for people to engage in violence. And trust me, I will bet you dollars to donuts that this is political violence. This is not just some rando. This is a guy who basically has been hearing that what these people are doing is evil and they shouldn't be there. That the fact that the murder rate has plummeted in Washington, D.C., doesn't matter. The fact that the crime rate overall in Washington, D.C. doesn't matter. That the violent crime rate has gone down doesn't matter. That the property crime rate has gone down doesn't matter. The fact that these National Guardsmen are working to help beautify Washington, D.C., none of that matters to these folks. Donald Trump wanted them to be there, so them being there is evil. And that's all you need to know in their eyes. And this is what you get. I mean, I'm not surprised. I don't know why anyone would be surprised. I think it was only a matter of time. I mean, is there anyone here who honestly believes, now I want to be honest, if you honestly believe that you did not think that this could happen, please tell me in the comments. Tell me what evidence that you have. What could you possibly look to that would lead you to believe that this was not possible? that this was no, not even that this was not possible, that this was not probable. Because as we saw, they attempted to kill Donald Trump, they didn't stop. As we saw that they tried to kill ICE agents, it didn't stop. As we saw that they killed Charlie Kirk, shot him on a college campus in front of thousands of students, in front of his wife and his children, the left hasn't stopped. Their rhetoric has only gotten worse. And this is just the next thing. It's just the next thing. I know that sounds sad to say, but it's just the next thing. And here's the thing that worries me, because there are many on the right, there are many of my friends, many of people that I know, many people that I listen to, that are getting frustrated, who have developed the attitude an eye for an eye, that are like, look, if this is what they're going to do, then we're going to fight fire with fire. And I don't want to see that happen. But if they're saying it, here's what I know, and I'll just be real with you. We got our crazies on our side. We do. The thing that has kept them at bay is because you don't see the leadership on the right. You don't see the leaders within the party. You don't see the elected officials creating these very same permission structures, right? You may see fringe people on the right saying it, but you don't see the mainstream right talking about this stuff, promoting, saying, well, you got to understand that they're just frustrated. No, there is no excuse for it. There is no excusing it. If it's war, that's a different story. I mean, if we're talking about fighting a war, well then, yeah, war's fought with weapons. It is. War's fought with weapons. But I don't think we're at war yet, and I want to get it to be at war. But clearly, folks on the left seem to think that it's okay. Once again, we've seen the polls. We've seen the polls that have said that there are way more people on the left. Granted, it is still the minority, but there are way more people on the left who believe that violence against your political opponent or your political enemy is understandable to appropriate. Way more than on the right. So much so that you have leaders within elected, once again, within the media, elected officials, who are granting these permission structures, who are creating these permission structures. And I could ramble on about this all day. I really don't want to. I want if you have not already done so, please take a moment, send out your prayers to the families of these folks. Oh, I'm sorry. I said, yeah. Oh, yeah. To the family, yeah, to the families of these folks. Um, oh, I just, I'm frustrated because this sort of stuff doesn't have to happen. It really does not have to happen. Um, and you know what's behind it. And once again, the shooter is the one who is ultimately responsible. The shooter's the one that's ultimately responsible. But I think every good American ought to kind of stop and think, how is the rhetoric that I'm putting out there, could it have contributed to this? Could it be leading someone or encouraging someone to do or say something like this? And I think those who are in positions of authority, those who are in positions of influence, have a greater responsibility to be responsible for the words they use. And I'll be real with you. That's why when Donald Trump called what those members of you've gone I'm glad you came back and said you don't wish they were dead. All right. I'm glad you came back and said you're not looking to execute them. I'm glad you came out and said that. But you probably should have thought about that before you sent out that truth. This is not on you. I just don't want to see violence against the left. Someone on the left have their life taken from them because of similar type of rhetoric that the left has been putting out. So anyway, that's Let me get off my high horse. That's going to be my rant for the day. Um, yeah, I just once again pray for their families, please. Do us a favor, do yourself a favor, pray for their families. Um, and like I talked to you about before, this is not different. This is the sort of stuff that's also happening, for example, against ICE agents. In fact, there's a Virginia Beach principal uh, who actually is accused of basically putting together a chilling plot. And in this plot, they were basically looking to lure in ICE agents and ambush them. This is a report over at Fox News. It says here, top brass at the Department of Homeland Security told Fox News Digital the agency's investigations unit is now on the case of a Virginia educator and his brother accused of plotting to attack ICE, potentially with explosive rounds. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said Wednesday that Kempsville High School assistant principal John Wilson Bennett and his older brother Mark Booth Bennett were overheard at a Vietnamese restaurant in Virginia Beach, allegedly conspiring to go to Nevada and plan attacks on ICE agents in retribution for what they claimed to be kidnappings of civilians during recent immigration enforcement operations. Quote, it's chilling that a human being, much less a child educator, would plot to ambush and kill ICE law enforcement officers, offering such specifics as to getting a high caliber rifle that would pierce the law enforcement's bulletproof vest, McLaughlin said after Fox News Digital originally reported on the adult brother's arrest days ago. Quote, thanks to Homeland Security investigations and our partners, these men are behind bars. And there they are right there. That is John Bennett and his brother, I think we say Mark or Michael Bennett. It says John Bennett has been on faculty at the school located in the inland part of Virginia Beach since 2009. The school told local press that he is currently on leave. Duh. I'm wondering if he was on leave before all this went down. In any case, once again, dude is an assistant principal, so you have to assume that he at least acts somewhat normal. People believe he's normal. At one point, he was normal. What leads him to believe that something like this is appropriate? Well, because he says, well, they're kidnapping civilians. Who else is using that sort of rhetoric? Democrats, the mainstream media. Once again, giving the permission structures. This stuff does not come from nowhere. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. People put ideas in people's heads. And that's why I think you can disagree with what the president is doing. But when you use hyperbole, when you use exaggerations, when you do the things that the left does, because they're like, here's the problem. Their thing is they're upset that everyone else isn't as upset as they are. So they have to figure out a way. How can I get him upset? Oh, I'm going to call him a Nazi. Oh, I'm going to say he's kidnapping him. I'm going to say he's kidnapping innocent civilians. Right? I'm going to say that they're engaging in violence against innocent American citizens, against your neighbors. That's how they do it. Their goal is to get you riled up, right? And now, they may be only trying to get you riled up so that you'll vote against these people. In some cases, they're not thinking you're going to go out and commit violence against these folks. But you would think, after the attacks on ICE that have already taken place, after the attacks on National Guardsmen that have already taken place, after the attacks on national political figures, political commentators that has already taken place, you would think they would know. After the attempted assassinations, not once, but twice on the president, you would think they would know. You would think they would have woken up to the reality that, how do you know they know? How do you know some of them know? Because they admit it. When they when they lament the fact that the assassinations against Donald Trump were not successful, when they celebrate and dance on the grave of Charlie Kirk because that assassination attempt was successful. That's how you know they know, and they don't care. Yeah. I am thankful to live in the United States of America. I truly am. I am thankful that we live in a place that allows people to be able to communicate freely their views, their values, and their beliefs. It is only here that you can muse about the physical violence against your leaders and get away with it. It doesn't happen in other countries. It doesn't. I'm gonna say it does. I'm gonna say it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen as freely. You don't see people on the media promoting it as freely as it happens here. But folks, we got to be more responsible. My message to the folks on the left is keep it up. Keep it up. But just remember, what goes around comes around. Say it again. What goes around comes around. Okay. Republican and Democrat presidents have been shot. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not promoting it. I am flat out discouraging it. But at the same time, I'm telling you to look at the situation that you are creating, that you are promoting, and maybe reconsider how you talk about this stuff. I'm not saying you got to agree with the president. I'm not saying you have to agree with what ICE is doing. I'm not saying that you have to agree with what the National Guard is doing. But be careful how you disagree. You can be agreeable in your disagreements. You really can. Hey, let me give a shout out to the folks over at folks over at American Crossfire. They are also tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for wishing us and our viewers and listeners a very very happy Thanksgiving. We're hopeful that that we're maybe giving you. Oh, we're hopeful that you're thankful for us. How about that? How about that? That's a good one. Now, as much as there are people out there who hate the National Guard for what they're doing or hate that the National Guard is out there, the National Guard is actually making a difference, right? We already know the murder rate there in Washington D.C. plummeted. I mean, they went like almost 2 weeks without a single homicide. That's never happened since in modern times that I know of. There's never been a 2 week period in Washington, D.C. where they did not have a single homicide. We know the property crime went down. We know that violent crime went down. And yeah, anyway, so we know basically that it's working there. And guess where else it's working? That's right. It's actually also working in over in over in Memphis. It says here the Attorney General told reporters on Monday that the task force will continue to operate in the face of judges who continue to obstruct our efforts. It says here Memphis murder rate cut nearly in half since the launch of the federal task force, according to Attorney General Bondi. It says here since President Trump administration first deployed federal officers to Memphis in late September, the city has seen a 48% decrease in homicides. Attorney General Pam Bondi said during a press conference on Monday, the Memphis Safe Task Force has also led to a 45% year-over-year decrease in overall serious crime and a 49% drop in sexual assaults and nearly 3,000 arrests, she told reporters, adding that the task force has recovered more than 100 missing children in less than 2 months. Quote, in every city across America, our message is clear, Bondi said. If you're committing violent crimes, if you're committing any crime, we will find you. We will bring you to justice, and we will protect the law abiding citizens in this country. The news of the task force results comes as Bondi and the Trump administration face pushback and legal challenges from Tennessee Democrats. A state judge blocked the administration's deployment of the National Guard in Memphis earlier this month after critics argue that the move violated Tennessee law. Now, I don't know about the move violating Tennessee law, but I do know this. I do know that the governor can send in, according to federal law, the governor can send in National Guard if a mayor or the governor give them permission or make a request. And the governor of Tennessee, of Tennessee, made a request, and it's clearly having an impact. Crime has been cut in half. I don't understand why are Democrats fighting for crime? Why are they fighting for criminals? Okay, so American Crossfire is saying that reports are that they're in critical condition. The report that I read today, just a minute ago, was from ABC News. I will drop a link to it in the. I'll drop a link to it in the chat. But they are reporting that both the men and women. So maybe the reason why they know for sure is because they were both West Virginia guardsmen. But so yeah, no, they were according to ABC News, they are deceased. In any case, back to what's going on in Memphis. Crime is down. Serious crime is down. Half. It's been cut in half. And yet, and yet, they're against it. And by the way, this is not a long-term solution. Having National Guard troops in these places is not a long-term solution. But it is proof of a couple of things. Number one, having more law enforcement does help. So defunding the police is a dumb idea. Having more boots on the ground in these communities helps. Number two, you've got to allow them to do their job. Allow them to do their job. Stop passing laws that make it so that, well, if you don't do it exactly like we have you do it, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your pension, you're going to wind up in jail. When you pass laws like that, what you're telling your cops is, you know what? I mean, I don't get me wrong. I get it. If someone goes and they're breaking the law and they're harming people outside of the law, then yeah, they need to be held accountable. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any accountability. But when the result of what you do is I've now got to watch every single thing that I do, otherwise I could lose my freedom, not just my job, not just my pension, but I could lose my freedom, then the best thing for me to do is to go, if I still want to do this job, I'm going to go somewhere else. And if I don't, even if I don't want to do this job anymore, I'm not going to do this job. So I'm not going to, all the money, all the energy, all the effort, all the resources, all the experience that a lot of these law enforcement officers have, we're losing. They may be like, well, I've been on the job for 15 years, but I'm not going to make it to 20 because I could wind up having to go to jail for doing nothing more than doing my job. And so they decide, you know what, I'll retire from this department, or I'll go to another department, or I'll just retire from law enforcement altogether and go into another career. That way, at least my pension when I go to retire will be intact. And oh, by the way, I won't be in jail. I talk with cops all the time, and these are the conversations that they have. In particular, the ones who are more experienced. If you're brand new, then you're figuring out, okay, this is the beginning. Maybe maybe let's see how it goes. But a lot of these folks who've been doing this for a while, they're like, yeah, nah, because they see how, especially, and once again, these sorts of attitudes happen in blue cities, and guess what Memphis is? It's in a red state, but it's a blue city. It's a blue city in a red state. Anyway, interesting things are going to be happening in the courts that are going to help determine whether or not this is going to allow to continue. And I'm pretty sure that it will be allowed to continue because, well, it's working. Two, it's within the law. And the president hasn't sent troops anywhere where, you know, well, let me clarify. There is some legal precedent, and they've said this, that he can send the troops, even if the city, even if the governor didn't ask for it. If he's sending them in specifically to protect federal assets, personnel, and property, the president does have the ability to do that. He does not. They do not have the ability to do law enforcement, but they do have the ability in those cases to protect uh, 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 federal assets. All right, moving right along. America First Global, America First Global Healthcare Strategy, and experts say that's a bad idea. And I'm like, well, are those experts from America? Because if they're not from America, well, then why do I care what they have to think? And by the way, yeah, there's nothing wrong with our president of the United States should be implementing a an America First healthcare policy. This being reported by the folks over at CNN, health experts are warning that the Trump administration's new America First global health strategy could further damage public health systems already reeling from billions of dollars in foreign aid cuts following the destruction of the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. And while some say the new system could bring benefits, there is agreement in marks it marks a radical change in approach from decades of U.S. policy. Under the new strategy, touted as an ambitious overhaul of the way the U.S. provides health assistance throughout the world, American aid will be funneled through a new system of one on one agreements with individual countries, rather than distributed through international aid partners and organizations. The stated goal is to have recipient countries further develop their own health systems, and the US decrease its assistance and spending. The strategy calls for bilateral agreements to be completed by December 31st for countries that receive the vast majority of US health foreign assistance. Oh, a senior State Department official said they are preparing to finalize some of those compacts by early December, and that countries are really excited about what this opportunity presents. First of all, do you really have an issue with a global strategy? When I say a global strategy, I mean it's not our responsibility to provide healthcare to the entire world. It really is not. Anyone who does not understand that, uh, go read the Constitution. It's not our responsibility. Um, and when we do provide it, one of the first things that needs to be looked at is, how does this benefit the United States? How does this benefit the people of the United States of America? What is in our national interest? Why is it in our national interest? Because trust me, in almost every case, there's something that makes it in our national interest. Why shouldn't we be looking at that? Why shouldn't that be a part of the strategy? Stop going through global aid partners, because some of these global partners, like the United Nations, they're not really interested in helping. They're interested in taking American resources, taking our money, and using that to leverage and lobby some of these countries. These are organizations that are run by China, they're run by North Korea, they're run by Iran, they're run by Russia, and yet we kick money into them. And these organizations basically crap on our friends and reward our enemies and protect our enemies. So no, we should not be going through these organizations. They're oftentimes fronts for covert crap that our government wants to do, and our government wants to push on other countries. I say no. Don't need it. We don't need them. We don't need these organizations. We don't need these middlemen profiting off of the resources put forth by the United States of America. We don't need that. Bye bye. Yeah, don't need you. Don't need you. And I'm glad that they're doing this. Experts don't like it because they believe that it's gonna harm global health. You know what? Trust me, it won't. It won't, because by having these unilateral agreements, we then are in a position where we can hold those countries accountable. Because groups like the World Health Organization and the United Nations are not holding anybody accountable. They're all basically weapons being wielded against the West. And many in the West, many of the Western countries, they're capitulating because they don't want to get caught up in a fight with everybody. Um, and those are the ones that like us. And the ones that don't, the ones that are just weak, they're the ones that are being overrun right now there in Europe. They're the ones that are going bankrupt, that are having, riots because the government's not giving them enough free stuff. Yeah, so no, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm glad we have an America first global strategy. And by the way, that's the way all your strategies should be. Let me tell you something. If your goal in taking care of your finances is not your family first, you're not only being dumb, you're not being biblical. Your first responsibility is your family, right? That's your first responsibility, then everything else, right? I always say God, family, country, and I say God first because God is the most important part of my family. But everything else, once again, God gave me this family. He gave me the family. He put them in my life, and He made me responsible for them. So they are the priority. I prioritize them, taking care of them, providing for them, as though I'm doing it unto the Lord. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And if you're not living your life that way, says here, American Crossfire, the federal government should not be doing any healthcare outside of the U.S. That should be left for churches and charities. And by the way, we are the most generous country in the entire world, both our churches and our charities and our government. More charitable giving goes to take care of the world than anywhere else. And by the way, just so y'all know, when it comes to charitable donating in red states, they way outgive blue states, right? Conservatives, Republicans give more. Democrats believe in giving, but they believe in giving other people's money. Yeah, they don't believe giving their own money. They just believe taking from others in order to give. All right, folks, that's not going to bring us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. I wanted to share this video because I thought it fit with kind of the conversation on healthcare, and to help people kind of understand that no, you do not have a right to healthcare. Well, I'll let Nick Freitas. I'll let him. He'll explain it to you because he does such a much better job at it than I do.
Well, Bernie Sanders is back to remind us all that healthcare is a fundamental human right. Now, I used to think that maybe Bernie Sanders was just ignorant with respect to what a fundamental human right was, but now I know, no, he's just a liar. He's lying about this, and here's how I know. If I were to go to Senator Sanders and I were to say, Bernie, I have a fundamental right to keep and bear arms. Therefore, I expect the government to provide me said arms at taxpayer expense. I have no doubt that he would be like, well, Nicholas, that is not what a fundamental right is. It does not obligate your neighbor to pay for your guns. Really? Is that? Wait a second. You're telling me my fundamental right to keep and bear arms, just like my fundamental right to freedom of speech or freedom of religion or freedom of the press, doesn't obligate my neighbors to subsidize my rights? Huh. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that you can't have a fundamental right to the labor or property of somebody else because that would essentially enslave that person to your needs, wants, and desires. But wait, that begs the question, what is healthcare? Oh, healthcare is a series of goods and services, or another way of putting it, it's a series of property and labor. So you can't have a fundamental right to it. Now, why do you keep using this term? Well, because if you were trying to sell people on what you actually wanted, which was a political takeover of the healthcare industry, you would have to convince people that the thing that will make healthcare more effective, more efficient, more affordable, and more accessible is putting a bunch of politicians and bureaucrats in charge of it. And something tells me you're not going to be able to sell people on that. So, like I said, you're not confused. He's just lying.
Yeah, he's just lying. Anyway, I thought that was A great explanation. I want to work to be able to explain it as efficiently and effectively as he does. So anyway, Nick Freitas, good work, good work. Okay, I got a couple of parting shots here on behalf of Thanksgiving. Jim Gaffigan, funny guy. Don't know his politics. Don't really care. He's a funny guy. So check him out.
Thanksgiving. That is all about overeating. I mean, one of the main dishes is actually called stuffing. Stuffing? What names did they turn down? Cram it in? Eat till you can't breathe? Am I the only one that doesn't feel comfortable with the fact stuffing is cooked inside a dead animal? Shove a loaf of bread up there, delicious. Kind of a humiliating way to go out for the turkey. You're gonna kill me? Oh, it's gonna get a lot worse. You do not want...
I have to agree with him. Every thought that he just had there regarding the stuffing, I have actually had for years. So anyway, interesting thought. All right, these next two here are a couple of images. So for those of you listening, you're not really gonna get it. Okay, this is my turkey from last year. I'm no longer allowed to make Thanksgiving dinner. If you want for me to describe it to you, there's a tinfoil bikini on the turkey before it's cooked, and then after it's cooked, well, let's just say the turkey has tan lines. Yeah. Now, even before all that, before it got put in the oven, before it got all dressed up and whatnot, it says, "I am no cook, but I can follow directions," which said to let the bird chill in the sink for a few hours. And clearly, I think this bird qualifies as chilling. Is that a Coors? Yeah, it's a Coors. It's got a Coors Light and Coors and the remote. Coors Light would have probably been more appropriate. But anyway. All right, this last little video here, this is the beginning of Christmas season, and two holidays are always battling it out, and so why not have it battle out in song?
Alright, we're gonna do one verse each, okay? Thanksgiving, you're up first. I'ma tell you the difference. You're overrated and secretly hated. Nobody wants to admit it, so I guess that I'll say it. You're too much pressure on a family, purely hype and vanity. A single parent's enemy, I don't respect that energy. I'm calm, cool, and collected. Nobody stressing or comparing the necklace. Just grateful for the blessings. Aunt and uncle's over, just chilling by the stove or watching the NFL or March of the Wooden Soldiers. Yeah, just pure vibes. I might get some more sides. You can thank me for the pumpkin, the spice, and the pie. Okay. I don't know what's worse. You promoting merch or your followers buying trees when they don't even go to church. But whatever works, right? Just make them work nights. Need that person nights. I guess that's worth the fights. Yeah, but I done figured you out. Taking it out on me cause Santa stole your clout. That's the difference. Oh, okay, Thanksgiving, okay. Christmas, what you got? Did you say something? I think I heard you mumbling. Something about an oven and snuggling with your cousin. Don't know what you've been huffing, comparing me to stuffing. I think we heard enough when you took credit for the pumpkin. Yeah, that's more cap in the new era. You don't go together, ask whoever. How long we made them better, you're not remembered. I own November, I am the pleasure. The cozy sweater, present send a memory getter. Come on, dog. Look at where the dollars go. You celebrating violence, bro. R.I.P. my Navajo. And the flow phenomenal. I'm not just talking follicles. I'm relevant forever. You're as current as a monocle. Yeah, and your lyrics ain't hard. John Taffer could've rescued those bars. Nah, that's why I got more W's than the hotel. Yeah, why you think they call me No L?
Okay. I thought that was it. Anyway, I like hip hop, so I thought that was fun. I hope you thought it was fun too. All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for today's program. I really appreciate. I just want you to know how much we appreciate you, every single one of you who watches, every single one of you who recommends the program to their friends. This is honestly a labor of love, and if there's one thing I'm thankful for, other than my wonderful family, my beautiful wife, the people that I get a chance to work for and work with, like Mike. I got a lot of things to be thankful for. But I just want you to know that I'm thankful for y'all. Y'all make this fun. This right here, I have a good time. If no one were watching, and trust me, there have been plenty of times where no one is watching, I would still be here having a great time. I love this country, and I love its traditions. I love it, and I love its people, even those who disagree with me. But anyway, just want to wish you and yours a very, very happy Thanksgiving. We will not be back on Throat for Throat Punch Thursday. We will not be back on Free for All Friday. Well, we may be. Mike's talking about, just broadcasting me and him asleep on the couch after Thanksgiving Day, but I don't know. I don't know about all that. But in any case, thank you once again so much. Once again, I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. You have a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and we will see y'all again on Monday. Fun day. Peace out.